Hi everyone. We're just setting up. Come on in. We're getting started a little bit early. Beautiful Thursday. Rocking the tunes. Hey friends. Are you a framework person or are you a fairy? That is the question to be determined. Okay. Are you all gonna be good right there? Because then I can set the camera. Gonna set the camera, peoples. Yay! Wow, you look amazing. I'm gonna hone in on you a little bit.
All right, as you should.
Wow. Hey, Kobe-licious. Barbara. Great to see you again. Joy and gratitude. Right there with you, honey. Right there with you.
Are you going to remember to take the timer off?
I'm going to remember. Yes. So, we're not going to share all the wealth.
No.
We're going to hold back, as you should. Don't
Hey,
share it all.
Look, my hair is blonde.
Did you get a blondie treatment?
I got some blonde in there yesterday.
I like it.
First time I got blonde stripes since January.
I like that, Joanna. She says, I'm all about the framework, but I want to be more fairy-like.
You know, art isn't art unless it's...
Uh-oh, are you getting started?
Nope.
Nope. All right, we're just setting up all the things in the background so that we can have a beautiful fairy-like experience.
Maybe it should be a
You going deep?
No. I was thinking debate.
No! You want to debate me?
I could actually anytime. I could debate either side.
You could, couldn't you?
Of course I could.
When one lives in way of the Tao,
I debate that.
you can always live in both worlds. Just how far do you want to go to the left or the right? I kind of like the way it looks, but I'm going to do that. Uh-oh.
Does it seem like I'm looking down?
No. Little adjustments. Oh my gosh, what a difference. One little setting. It's always like that. The value is in the flow line. I agree. So Joanna said the flow line. She's talking about this line down the middle. It's all going to come out in today's Trisbrina Show. All things will be revealed.
Oh, show your rings.
Why? You want to see my rings?
I had this one specially made.
Which one?
The one with the infinity sign.
Yeah, I'd bring it closer, and I'm not trying to do the middle finger. Here, you know what? It won't work because I have to. There you go. That's it. You know Facebook's gonna make that the shot, right? Fairies and frameworks unite on the flow line. Joanna, trying to get an A+ or something? What's going on here? What's Kobe say? You have 2 minutes to state your case.
Yeah, I don't
Is that how you are with your husband? Okay, honey, you get 2 minutes. Go.
Don't give up.
I like it.
So how are you guys doing in your
Mama's here.
location? I just
Mama
texted
Rita.
her.
Aw.
And with what's going on in the world. I was just telling Tristan that I got
Pre-talk.
a notification from my Facebook that then sent me over to CNN. What?
The Facebook.
My Facebook.
What did they say?
What are you looking at?
You have a little thing.
Get it.
No, you bite.
I won't bite.
You swear?
I swear.
You're a fairy, right? I have to go in deep. It's alright, it's hidden.
It's a corn puff.
Every time Sabrina will go like this. What do you normally do? Even then I got scared. Because she makes the sound. Like Cujo.
Anyway, these 16 women, they looked like 21 to 25. they went to a bar in Florida to celebrate a birthday, and they felt like, this whole thing is over, and all 16 of them are sick. Every single one is positive, with varying degrees. But then they contacted everyone who was at that restaurant bar, and over the course of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hundreds of people are now sick, and they were just on saying, don't go from let's be careful to what the heck. Still be really smart about it, especially right now.
Yeah, stay mindful. Okay, so
and really keep moving.
Joanna.
What?
She said, when I was cleaning your teeth, now that's love. I agree, Joanna. That's some serious love and trust right there. And even still, you know the story about the frog and the scorpion giving him a ride across the river?
No.
You don't?
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There was this frog.
Should I leave?
And he would take people across the river. You're fine. And
the only reason I knew there was something there is because he wasn't looking in my eyes. He was looking in between my teeth.
I was trying to see, it was a gap or what was it? The frog gives people a ride across the river. And a scorpion came one day and said, Mr. Frog,
Do you want to wait and say this on the air? Or no?
No, it's...
Okay,
It's
pre-talk.
bonus training for coming early.
Bonus!
You guys know this one. I can't believe you don't know this.
I probably do, but I like to hear it again.
It's very basic.
Okay.
The scorpion says, give me a ride. And
a scorpion, like a little mini
Is
lobster?
it a frog? It's a frog, right? I think it's a frog.
A scorpion can't carry a frog.
The frog's going to give a scorpion a ride across the river.
Oh. Frogs can swim across the river?
Isn't it a frog, guys? I'm pretty sure it's a frog. Anyway, some kind of amphibious creature that can take anyone, including a scorpion. He's like, no way. Because scorpion's got the thing, man.
We just caught one right here.
Yes, we did. And the frog's like, no, dude, you'll sting me. And the scorpion's like, that would be really dumb of me. If I do that, we're both going to die. And the frog thought, that's a good point. All right, hop on my back. Gives him a ride. They're halfway across. What? Bing! And he's dying, going down, going under. He's like, well, you dumb. Why'd you do that? He goes, I can't help it. It's my nature. See, it's even a joke. All right. Hi, Deborah. So we got Mike here. Deborah Pearson is here. Mama Rita is here. Cobalicious is here. Barbara was in second place twice in a row, Barbara. Got to brush up on your button clicking skills. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Rita's the first to my fitness class every day.
She's right there. It's Keith probably.
It's because they get the notification.
Your dad's like just right there, just like, yeah. Right, Keith?
Right.
Carol's here. Cheryl's here. Carol and Cheryl. All right, we're down to the wire here.
Is
20
Bonnie
seconds.
Carney here?
Bonnie. Who said that? They couldn't pronounce Bonnie's last name.
Dad.
Was it your dad? No. It's Sabrina's nature to bite. Yeah, exactly. You're the scorpion.
No.
That's where the story came from. It's all about you.
You're a frog.
All right.
Wow.
Would you like the Big Little Lies?
No.
No. Do you have your special Trisbrina music?
Well, yeah.
I like this one too.
Okay.
Okay, we're starting. You gonna do a fresh start?
Yes.
You gonna look pretty? Make a smile?
I'll smile this way so they don't see my corn puff.
Okay, ready? Fresh start.
1, 2, 3. Wait, 3. 3 times.
Three times?
3.
Okay, I didn't know that. Ready? Go. 1, 2. It's like come to center. 3. Welcome everybody to the
Trisbrina Show.
Episode number garbity goop. We have no idea at this point. There have been so many of these. We're just having a blast getting together with our peeps. And today is all about something that we have
discussed often
and almost had fights about. Mm-hmm. We've actually had some grumblings over this one. It's called Frameworks and Fairies, and it's going to be a really juicy topic. I think it's something that a lot of people experience. Has to do on perspective and how you personally feel joy and flow, and we're all kind of wired differently. So we're going to dig into frameworks and fairies.
And I think you have the internal conflict and the internal fight and the internal balance and the internal bliss within yourself and with people you work with.
That's true.
Right?
I've got here that we're going to find the perfect balance between process and play. And we're going to discuss integrating the left and right sides of your brain. We're going to discuss the yin with your yang and the rama with your lama.
And your ding dong.
Oh, rama lama ding dong.
Rama
You
lama
got to
ding
add that
dong.
part in there, otherwise that sounds really naughty. All right, gang. Hi, everybody. Hi, June. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for jumping in here. I'll tell you what, this is really cool. Our email system, which is almost like a telephone to us, is completely down all day.
It's not ours. It's the one we pay for, right?
Yeah, okay. It's how we reach you through email, which is really important for us.
I was just saying, it's not our company.
No, we don't own the company. I meant the email system, if I didn't
Yeah.
say that. It's down, and they haven't been able to fix it. It has something to do with these things called servers. Anyway, the only way to reach you guys is through social media and the ethers. So we've been sending out messages through social media. But here's to the point of being consistent. Would you say that some of you already knew that we were going to be here live at this time because we've been consistent? Just saying that being consistent with your trainings, your content, whatever it is that you're doing, really plays a big role in people connecting and knowing when and where to be.
And that if you usually attend something, there's a greater likelihood that you will be notified when
That too.
Trisbrina goes live, Satori Method is live. Or if you ever see the post ahead of time and you definitely hit get a reminder.
Oh yeah, if you ever see that thing pop up, Facebook will, and I think it's the 3 little dots. You can also get notification settings as
see
well.
first. Say see them first.
See us first, and then we'll be able to notify you. Okay, so frameworks and fairies. Let's set the stage for the conversation. All right, now I would have to say there's both sides in everyone, but some people play in one side more than the other. Okay, so we could talk about the artist and the builder
Technician.
or the technician, right? So why don't you, just for now, because I know you just love the artistry and the flow and the creativity and the fairy consciousness, because Sabrina taps genius when she's not put in a box. And so if we talk about frameworks, in her mind, it's shifting.
It's got to be a big enough box.
It used to feel like a little box. Don't put me in a box. It's like, don't put baby in the corner, right? Nobody puts baby in the corner. And baby will kick and if you put her in a freaking corner or a box. And she's like, no, there's no freedom there. It feels like a prison, and I want permission to play. Would that be a true statement?
Yes, I don't feel like I'm playing. I feel like it's relaxing and it's allowing what's meant to be shared, what's meant to be created, visions to come, creativity to bubble when there's space for it. And if you fill all the space up with your A plus B plus C equals D, and the diagonal goes, and this is in the middle, and there's a figure 8, and there's a hypotenuse, and there's a vector, there's no space left for a genius.
Right. And then there's this beautiful house that we're in, and if there wasn't a builder with a blueprint who knew what beams went where and in what order and process, we wouldn't have this beautiful house to play in, right? So you need both. The creative one who sees the home built, sees the experiences that the people will have in the home, the feng shui of it all, the energy flow, but without process, without a frame, there's nowhere to put the picture.
You know what? I just found the answer.
Oh,
You know why?
Enlightenment.
I just found the answer because I have nothing prepared to say, and in that nothingness there was an allowing, and I just realized the chicken and the egg. Right, because you just mentioned the builders of this house. Well, before they built the house, before they did the architecture, there was space to create the idea and the possibility.
Oh, look at that. It weaves. Goes in and out.
So maybe is the framework and the recipe coming from fear? of not knowing what to do and not knowing what to say, and I just can't be me. I can't be authentically me. Everything has to be predetermined. I have to read a teleprompter.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
You know, I'm creating a framework because I don't know who I am and because I don't trust that I can just be and that being is enough. Or is the framework being created to as this incredible bed to create on? Is the framework created to support, you know, like in those I'm seeing them in those sketches on the side of the tombs. You know, I go to these tombs. I go to these tombs all the time.
Yeah,
and,
of course you do.
And they're like
The little drawings.
The four like Egyptians are carrying the cot.
Okay.
With the goddess on there.
Yes.
She's like the fairy, and the 4 men are like the framework.
Okay.
Yeah, that if you're.
I'm tracking, following. Are you following?
If the framework is created to carry
The fairy.
the fairy.
Carry the damn fairy.
No, it's really to carry the unknown. For me to carry the possibility.
There's so much in this topic.
You know, I didn't used to have it when I was more in theater. It was about, you tell me exactly what line to say, and I'm going to say it. And so the transition to just being and saying was really scary. The confidence to just be, for me, is a much greater level of confidence and trust. Trust in source. Trust in really not caring what people think, and trusting, having faith that everything will bubble up as it should be. Everything will be said exactly when it should be said to whoever should hear it. That level of trust for me is so much greater and activates genuine charisma than say these exact lines over and over again.
Tristan's process would be that he doesn't feel the structure / support / safety /
Lots of slashes.
space that would allow for him to tap into that place because of a wobbly foundation that I would stand on. But if I had the foundation to stand on, I then would allow for the freedom and the flow. But I want to go, before you jump back in and riff, I want to talk about what she said. That's what she said about the scripts in the past and being an actress. We're going to be jamming with you guys in a moment. And like having to follow template or script or framework. That is so... what would you call it? Parroting back something. We see this in the business space. A lot of times people are like, give me the templates, give me the script, so I just know what to say and what to do. And there's a place for that for sure. To me, that's like training wheels, so that you can learn to ride the bike and then you have your own experience. But if you are stuck and locked in a template, you can never allow for that genuine flow and creativity and incredible genius to come through. There really is a marriage between these two. So that's my MO, is if I have structure, then I have the freedom to play inside. Because I'll go into a class, for example, and I've got my 3-point process or my 4-part framework. You guys that know me, I'm a map framework freak, right? But in that place, I always know it's there, and I can go to it, or I can visualize it, or I can see the blocks. And then I can dance inside of those, and I can allow, and then I know where home base is. It's almost like I'm tethered to safety, and I can live out here in the free space for a while, and then I'm back.
Yeah, I think the results end up this very similar, because when I teach my morning dance fitness class, I have all my songs in order, and I have all my choreography done, and I can mix it up on the fly if I want. But I just realize a lot of times when we're creating, he'll say, well, which bucket does that go in? Which bucket does that go in? And I'll say, I don't know yet. So I'm feeling it about and playing with the clay, and then because based on the feeling of it and the experience of it and the experience I want someone to have, I then put it in the proper bucket. where you get the buckets and put stuff in it to create the feeling people have. It's the same, but
but I know what she's talking about, because if you put it in the bucket too soon, then you took that color away from me, and I might want to use that in a different place. So what we have to learn to work with people, right? And we see this in our lives, the yin and the yang, and we all flip back and forth with polarities, but it's okay to put it in a bucket and take it back out. If you watch Ellie and Emma, our little friends, Heather's kids,
2 and 4-year-olds,
they put stuff in buckets, they put them in little boxes, and then they take it out and throw it again, and then they do it again and again and again. And they just keep doing it. I put it in to try it on. What would that be like if I put that there? See, I used to do web design, and I'm always moving things around. I'm like, how does that feel? But I'm not attached. Key element, don't be attached to your framework, let it evolve.
Say that again.
Don't be attached to your framework, let it evolve. Now, you got to be willing to tear frameworks down. So because my life feels more flow, if I have a framework, I always say frameworks create freedom for people like me. Not for everyone, but for me. Like if I create a framework, we'll call it a show flow or a process map or something like that Sabrina can play in and put all the colors and curriculum. Then when we go to create a course, she doesn't have to think about that. She knows I got that, and she just freestyles and all this genius comes. So in partnership, it's kind of cool if you have this agreement. And here's my best point for those of you who are framework people: always let the fairy know. Always let the fairy know. I will never put you in a box. It will be really big and open and wide, and we can always change the framework, but you're going to have the freedom to play. And then the fairy is good. The fairy doesn't freak out. But if you say, this is the way, and this is it, and it can't be changed, fairy going to freak.
Very quitting.
Fairy going to freak. What do you guys think about this? Have you been through this? Do you know what we're talking about? Because this is the yin and the yang, right? Yeah. Joanna earlier said, find the flow line, which we talk about often around here. Can you find the marriage between process and play?
Well, I would never go to teach like an hour-long, like let's just say dance fitness class, and not have music in a playlist and not know kind of what I'm going to do. We actually do a lot of that together when we teach our wacky workouts on Saturday morning. We just sort of toss you teach this, I'll teach this, back and forth. But we have 30 years of experience doing it, so there's so much to draw from.
Yeah.
But I never really do anything without a little pre-thinking, even just putting on makeup, like the order that you put the stuff in or thinking about it. I always have a structure, but the way that I put it on is already based on the result that I'm feeling. When I create like a program, I'm not creating it as the creator of it. I'm actually creating it as the person that's going through it. I've always done that.
End user experience.
I always do that. When I put on the big charity events, for these thousands of people, even though I'm doing everything on stage, my vision of it and what I'm seeing is the audience entering into the room and sitting down. What are they hearing? What are they seeing? And their experience of it, rather than everything going according to plan.
Mike's a fairy. He says, I guess I'm a fairy. Now, what's been interesting for me as a framework person...
So, and you're both.
Well, I am, because the framework
you're
allows
totally
me...
a fairy.
I'm big time allow for fairy flow. I can tap into that, again, for me.
Hey, is that what it looks like? That's not what it looks like.
That's my extrapolation of fairy flow. No.
What does framework look like? Framework looks like this.
Frameworks can be acronyms, anything that helps you remember sequence,
Sure can.
recipe.
Lots of acronyms.
I'm a freaking geek for this stuff. I learned frameworks as a kid in karate, right? So I used to feel lost.
LOST, lost.
I will make you a framework from that. No, let me share this.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
I came from England, and life felt very uprooted for me. And America was big and brazen and different. and I was super shy. And so I felt not only shy and scared, but I felt lost in class because things were different. And so I was always trying to find my footing. I was always trying to find my place. I was always felt like I was always behind, trying to catch up. And that's not a fun feeling. And so somewhere around the time, I guess, of learning martial arts and forms, which are frameworks, they're even a pattern. They look like an H. I learned where the movements go. Just like in dance, there's set steps that you have to go through in order for the dance to work. It's very mathematical, right?
Very.
So this was very mathematical as well. It was executed the same distance on each side, X amount of punches. You never change the framework. It stays the same. But it's like a musical instrument, learning scales on a guitar or on piano or whatever. You have to have these set techniques that you can use to build upon and then mix and fuse, like building blocks, right? And then all of a sudden, with these blocks, you can cut loose. And anybody who has been a musician or has danced, and you see someone that's so stuck in technique, they can never break free of technique because they're always too tight and overthinking and worrying about doing it wrong. And they never tap into play and flow and joy. But this person here, I've watched you teach, and you're incredibly framework oriented. But here's what happens to some people: they don't know they're doing frameworks. They've been doing it for so long that they have become one with the process. And this is why some people can teach and some can't. Because you have to be able to articulate and use different analogies and processes and games and drills and exercises to get people to learn. Sabrina does all of that without even thinking.
I guess like the cookies.
You have a recipe. But you mix it up.
I had a recipe.
Now the whole world has it. Well, you stole it from Mama Rita.
But I haven't used it. I only used the recipe once.
So she had a framework, she had a process, and then she allows for fairy dust.
And then I thought, a little almond butter. How about some coconut
Because
flakes?
you like variety and the spice of life, and you want to see what magical thing can you create next.
And I thought I can use a lot fewer dishes if I don't measure anything.
All right, fine. What else have we got coming through here? Are you a fairy or are you a framework person, or do you use both? And in what order?
This is really interesting. I'm just gonna talk out loud about myself. I excelled in school in math and science and geometry and everything that could be defined, algebra, calculus. Did not enjoy as much writing at all. I didn't like writing. With math, I knew I could always get the right answer. I could solve the problem. I could plug and play into the equation. I could figure it out. With the writing, you can't figure it out. It's like how communicating with words in a way that help people find pictures. And it seems like the last 10 years of my life, everybody keeps making me write. I've been everywhere we go, I'm cast as the writer, and I'm like, whoa, wait, like I was like A++++ and everything but writing. Well, what is this nonsense? And it has, I think, helped me to express myself and do things and stop having everything to be so correct. Because when you're writing for business, when you're writing emails, it is not correct grammar. It isn't structured. The capitalization makes no sense. The punctuation is whatever you want it to be. You're looking for pattern interrupt. It is a completely different way of writing to help people read. You might underline a word in the middle of a sentence, like you never did that in school. So I'm seeing where I think that has helped me to be more comfortable in flow, because I don't have a structure.
Well, isn't that the end goal? At the end of the day, it's to find flow, because that's where the joy lies. So, like Joanna had said earlier, isn't that people are both, but they tend to gravitate towards one more than another, in that we can find a balance between the two. I would say yes, that's the end game for me, is to find a balance between the two. I have noticed that this was a big deal to me. I'll try to explain this through a business analogy. So learning online marketing, something that we teach, that we've been doing for about 14 years now. The reason to learn it was so that we could share Qigong and healing and the meditation arts that we love with more people, not just here locally in Austin. And so we went online and we started learning different processes, different types of technology, different ways of sharing. And for me, I did this with martial arts too, because I had studied for so many years. I knew so many techniques and I studied from so many teachers in different styles that I would fill up notebooks with stuff. And then what happened was I wanted to see, could I gather all that data and aggregate it into simple buckets? And I followed what Bruce Lee talked about, that there's kicks and punches and something called close quarters and grappling, which is usually on the ground. I thought, well, that's a good framework because all the different styles have those 4 elements. So rather than trying to categorize styles, which there are hundreds and hundreds of them, I'll categorize based on technique. And so my brain really liked that, because then I could fill up my buckets with techniques, and then I could look for the aggregation of those to create a balanced artist, martial artist. And I said, with the marketing, there were so many moving parts and we felt overwhelmed. What if we could aggregate it into a framework? And we've tried many different frameworks. We did it with all the personal growth, and Satori method was birthed. And we have a beautiful map. It's called the Mastery Map, and it's a framework. But inside that framework, it's all about finding the flow.
Yeah,
the flow line.
it's very open.
We did it with business as well. So now we understand the journey that someone brand new to an expert needs to go through to hit all the points and check off all the steps to serve others through these modalities. Right? So we use a framework to help us stay on track. And also you can use a framework to diagnose what might be missing. Just like a doctor does. They go through their checklist and they're, how's the blood work? Let's do the saliva. Let's check all these things. That's a framework, really, of health. It's a health framework. And then they're looking for what might be off. If you do that, if you create your own framework for your life or your business, you can then identify what you might be leaving out of the equation and why you might not be in flow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I just had so many insights about why I get irritated or upset.
Awesome.
In some of our conversations about business, I'll feel like I have this new way of seeing something, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I just talked to my friend and she wants to help me do this, and it's this like a whole new way of doing things, and then from there we can do this, and then that thing we've always wanted to do. Oh my gosh. And then sometimes it's met with, well, wait a minute, it's got to fit in my cast bar. It's got to be in one of these 6 buckets. And I'm like, no, this is fresh. This is new. Can we not put anything in a bucket for a while? Can we hold it up here and look at it and look at how it might be different, and how can we grow? Because what if the bucket's getting old? Or what if there's 7 buckets and we didn't know it before? Don't put the thing in the bucket yet. That is it. And then the other thing is, my creative process is very much alive. I feel it as a living thing, and a lot of times in the middle of the night, I'm given ideas and guidance and changes to make. So if we were selling a program like Teach to Sell, and then you make it an acronym, Teach, like right away, make it an acronym, and then it's shared with me, no, that's not the right name for it. And now I'm like, it's not called that anymore. And you're like, yes, it is, because it's an acronym. So that's where it's the timing of it.
In partnership, you have to be willing to adjust and be flexible and shift.
And surrender everybody.
And do the dance of flow, right? So let's say this is blue and this is red in this case, right? You're living in the dynamic of contrast to what help you find the flow line.
Yeah.
So it's good that something changes here,
Yeah.
and this has to lean in more until you find that
Yeah.
beautiful harmony. But if you're so stuck in your ways, and you can look at this in relationships big time,
Either person's stuck.
you've got to learn to move with them, and don't freak out about, leaning a little bit to the right or the left. It's probably pretty good for you, right? And in that, you're going to grow too.
Yep.
I've grown so much because of your flow states that I used to think, oh, it's uprooting my framework. No, freak out. The building's going to fall down, right? That's the reaction. Why? Because I use frameworks to find flow. There's times that you got to surrender and trust, and that's scary.
Well, it comes
get
back down to did we
I've
just
learned a
create
lot
an
about
acronym to feel settled? Wait a minute, I need to feel settled. I'm creating an acronym out of fear, or back to the cave to carry the fairy. And not that the fairy is just our representing
It's not weak.
creativity as it is unfolding.
Magical creativity.
Now, can you just package creativity unfolding? That's really hard to sell. It's really hard to offer. You gotta put it. You gotta make it a thingy.
Yeah.
We can't sell a concept. So that's something that I'm always working with. Like we're about to. We're so freaking excited.
Oh my gosh.
We're really gonna help people. There's this whole thing about confidence, which I don't believe in confidence. I believe in charisma. Charisma, the original
Don't believe.
word means like of the light through the grace of God, serving of God. And it's going to allow us to help people really be more total in their business and not have fear sharing what they are with these exercises that we're going to show. But finding the word, I have to find words to tell people what it is so that they can purchase it, and then I can change their lives.
She needs to find a frame.
Yeah, because we have. I always have, both of us. I'm just speaking for me. I have no doubt somebody can come to me and be really scared and really nervous to talk about what they do, and I got that. Over and over, I got that. I've done it with dance. I've done it with acting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I got that's what I do. I can just transform that. But explaining to them how it's going to happen, that's really tough.
You see why we work really well together, like rama, lama, lama.
So if you can put it in a box,
Hand
a
it
nice
over.
box, and offer it, and then once they're here, you start unpacking, and you really can't. Sometimes you have to give people what they think is in the box, and then you give them the fairy.
So let's review.
Fairy dust.
Fairy dust. Try letting go of tightness around being on either side of the equation, and look for and learn into the balance between the two, because they really do support each other. Okay?
Sprinkle fairy dust all over your framework.
Yeah. I put it up on the screen a minute ago. You might find, like me, you really enjoy structure and process first, with permission for it to change. That's so important. Don't get locked in. You might borrow someone else's framework for a while, but be willing for it to evolve. Put it in place and see if that gives you the space and the safety to allow that creativity to unlock. That I do that with meditation. I have a 5-step process to get me into, and it works for me.
But I've seen you allow your frameworks to evolve.
Absolutely, you
Like
have to.
you might teach a beginner that a jab is the arm, and then you tell them no, it's really the hip, and then you tell them and the foot. The framework evolves as the student
You
is
also
ready.
have to be willing to throw your frameworks away. You can transcend them or evolve into them that they just become so integrated, but you become freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So the framework is almost like the training wheels that gives you the stability to get into the riding flow. And once you're up and running and riding, you don't need it anymore. If you need it, you know it's there. You can come back
Just
to it.
like
But
driving a car.
my goal always is to get into flow and to allow, because that's where true creativity comes from. So whatever that is, I've given the analogy of a sail, and you hook it to the mast and the wind is blowing, but you're not going anywhere until you pull it up and hook it on the frame, and the wind can catch and fill the sail, and off you go. That was a framing process to allow for the flow to take over. You got to do your part. So whatever that is for you that gets you in flow, And maybe you're a flow person that you just flow right in. Like you just got that. You're just like la 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 la. I don't know what that is for you, but
It's
you just
not like that.
or maybe it's just like flow.
No, maybe.
What is flow for you? I'm not trying to judge it.
Flow is just like I'm seeing. It's. I feel like I.
You used to say the top of your head got.
Yeah, like the top of my head gets chopped off, and I just the ideas. It just feels like all of a sudden I see something really clearly, and it excites me at my heart, and at my purpose, and it feels really exciting. It feels really good. I can't wait to do it.
My point is, you don't need a framework for that to take place. So if that's your in, and you have access like that, go that way. See, come from this side or this side. But if you want to,
You got to put it in a box.
Well, you got to put it in something so that you can sell it.
Yeah.
You can share
A little silk baggie.
help people get into that flow, whatever that looks like. But there's a marriage between the two, is I think what we wanted to bring to, and we want to find a happy medium between the fairy and the framework. This is something that's helped us to grow over the years.
It's a framary or a
framary?
Fairy work.
It's fairy works. we find places in our lives where it's just complete trust in each other. Because I know her genius, she knows mine, and we trust that together this Trisbrina thing happens. Yeah. And Trisbrina is just a concept that happens with any partnership that you engage in, right? It's just that union, that flow line that we're talking. So that's what we wanted to bring to you today. Come from either side. Don't disregard one or the other. There is a marriage.
And come from both out of love and excitement and the desire to serve. Like even the way someone might discipline a child, you can help a child to understand concepts and I guess be disciplined from fear of what other people will think or out of love for their safety. Like everything can come, the same creation can come from two different ways. You don't want to be in your, I don't want a framework because you're not organized, because you don't know how to make one, because you feel stupid when you're trying to have a framework. Because your brain doesn't think like that and you've always struggled with organization, right? That could be a reason you don't have a framework. I see a lot of people online, coaches trying to sell what they do, and it's like, what the heck are you talking about? You just read what they're saying and it just is like goobly goop, drip, drip, blah, blah.
It's so confusing.
You're like, what the heck are you saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no structure
and that can be a lack of skill in saying what something is in a way that people can understand, because you need the other person to go, oh, I think I understand the framework of what you're saying. I don't know all the details, but in order for someone to say yes to you, even in a relationship, they have to think that they understand what it is that you're saying.
Yep.
Like if you say to someone, hey, do you want this food hidden under this blanket? They're not going to. You have to say it in a way that they understand what it is. So I just wanted to say it isn't that the framework mind can create framework out of fear, but the unwillingness to be grounded can also come from fear. Fear of being trapped or fear of looking stupid.
For those of you who are growing your business or starting a business, you really need both. You really should, in my opinion, definitely tap into flow, fairy consciousness, and get those downloads, get those ideas of what lights you up. You don't need a framework for that. If you need some tool that gets you into state, great. But allow that core light, mission, purpose, whatever it is, to light up inside you. And then to share that light, you're going to need a framework. Every business needs structure or it doesn't stay in business. So you really want to lean into both.
Yep.
I would, starting a business, say go into flow first, not framework. So here's what happens. It goes, not everyone, a lot of people go out and immediately start learning other people's frameworks and try to build something. But you can't build off another person's framework if you haven't put your being first in front.
Yeah.
it won't fit because it doesn't align with you.
Yeah.
This is why for us, and we made this mistake, we had a calling. Our being was very clear. And then we went and we just studied frameworks and lessons and all these things, but we didn't align our being with those things. We thought, we got to just go do process. And it was horrible.
It's dry.
It was empty, dry, totally out of an alignment with who and where we're at. And so we struggled for a very long time, and we spent a lot of money choosing things that were terrible fit for us. And then we found a coach here and there that was more aligned. And eventually we built our own framework, if you will, that has to do with coming from love. And we call it Be Love, Serve Love, Make a Difference. And if you see the new splash card that goes with these shows, you'll see these 3 little icons at the bottom. And the first one is a heart, which means connect to that soul, connect to source, connect to love first. Be love, align to love. And the next one is some hands. Serve love. Now that you're filled up and lit up, it's time to share that. You've got that flow, that fairy consciousness, you're connected to your being. Now let's go and build some frameworks so that we can carry that love into, and you'll probably see a dollar sign and some light around it, because for us a dollar sign is just energy. And that's how we make a difference in the world of business, is we have enough currency flowing through from the being and the framework into the manifestation, which is to uplift others. At the end of the day, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and uplift your clients and your students and your patients, right? So that's our process. Be love, serve love, make a difference. We had to build that, though. Now it all works. It all flows. And I want to do, this is called a content commercial. On Monday, this is our goal, providing our email system's working again, we're going to invite you guys to something frigging amazing. And Sabrina will tell you what it is. I'm happy to, but I know you're super excited about it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's a new program. It's like a kit.
It's all about confidence.
Because I was told in the middle of the night 3 nights ago, which didn't make any sense at the time, to call it a kit because the fairy hadn't created it yet. And we didn't know it was a kit until yesterday. It was so cool.
It all came together.
But it's called On Camera Next Level Confidence.
Yeah.
And it really is things that we love helping and teaching. And we did sort of a VIP day with a dozen people. And every single person was sharing the different ways that they feel shut down, blocked, don't know what to say, don't like the way they look, boring, awkward, just all these different things that they feel regarding being confident on camera. Now, why on camera? It's because all of these people are want to be business owners or teachers or service providers, and right now with what's happening, take what maybe they were doing offline and do it online. So it's like a 3-part program, this Next Level Confidence, and we're going to teach 15 ways that we activate our charisma and boost our confidence. These are things we do right before we go live, right before we film a program.
We're doing one right now.
Depending on what the end goal is, or sometimes even just how you're feeling, these are ways to shift into a way that allows you to really align with that light within you. Because when you're aligned with the sparkle, there's nobody there feeling like, I need confidence. That it's a different identity. And then we're also going to give everyone who goes through the program a copy of our new course, Go Live with Confidence, where we teach everything that we do before we go live, while we're live,
You've seen
and
some of it.
after. And that comes with some templates to get you started, how to write a headline, how to know what to say, and then the download checklist. And then also we're going to include my 7 essential makeup tips to look natural, vibrant, and fresh on camera with only 7 products. And then it has some bonuses.
Some really cool bonuses.
Yeah.
Things about getting into, we call flip into flow. There's something for developing, it's a visual process. It's from a vision that you watch that really pulls forth your natural confidence.
And your self-esteem.
And then there's another
A guided meditation called Flowing with Success. And it walks you through removing blocks maybe voices that you have, things that you've picked up before in your life that are keeping you from really stepping into fully being yourself. So we love it because we know that you can fake confidence from the outside for a little while, but not for very long. So we're really going to help people bring it from the inside out so that they can really share what they love with others.
And I think the Go Live training is awesome because if you don't know how to go live, like we're doing right now, or just from a simple smartphone, we've got you covered. We're going to teach you all of that so you can run whatever you want from your house, whether it's a show like this or just sharing in a private group with a few people. You're going to get the whole kit and caboodle so you feel so natural and comfortable.
The confidence kit and caboodle.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Okay,
Okay,
I wanted to say one more thing that I realized while Tristan was talking a minute ago, because this might help you. I just saw that there's some areas in my life where it doesn't occur to me that I could be confined by structure. In this other program we're working on, 7 Days to Paid, the first thing that I thought of is to help people do a free workshop is I was like, okay, there's going to be the intro, there's going to be Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and the close. And I kind of spread it out, and then I start putting in, okay, the Act 1, and then this, Act 2, and then that. But I didn't feel it was a framework at all.
Sounds like one to me.
Because it's the way that I just create with a lot of open space, and then I go in. So I bet everyone's like that. There's things that they do with a lot of structure and things that they do with more flow, and to let that cross over. Just like there's areas in our life that we feel very confident, and then there's other areas that we might not.
Totally.
You know, like some people feel, oh, I'm really confident cooking a meal for my family. Somebody else is like, oh, not me. Right, so you can borrow it from other areas.
If this is something that interests you, let us know in the comments. Just write like interested. Would you like to learn how to feel very natural, comfortable, and confident in front of a camera? We actually teach you how to make the camera disappear. There is no more camera. There's just you connecting with whoever you're wanting to connect. Does that interest you? Would you like to feel more relaxed about the technology part? Like if we could simplify that for you. Do you want to work from home or grow a coaching or healing practice from the comfort of your home given everything that's happening in the world right now? Does that interest you? Because we're trying to create things that our people really want and need.
Because that's what we're interested in sharing. We think this is really important right now. 24-hour fitness just went bankrupt. There's so many coaches and teachers, dog trainers, right, Monty? I saw you just popped in here. That they need a place to let people know, hey, I would like to help you. Because we were just, if any of you watched Deborah Poneman's master class, we talked about her last week. It was, when was it? Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Tuesday night. One of the things that she said that I've heard many times before, and I want to hear it over and over, is when you have an idea, like I think I might like to do that, it's not that you just had that idea, it's that idea has been given to you by God, given to you by source, given to you by something bigger that doesn't have hands to create it, that looks down and says, hey, I'd like to have that. Sabrina can do it. I'll give her that idea. So if you have that idea to share, you wouldn't be given the idea if you didn't have the capacity to actually do it. And I loved hearing that. Just to hear that again, it got me more excited to quickly sort of put this together. Because the other thing is that if God would like to have something created and Sabrina says, I'm busy, God's like, okay, cool. And then just give it to somebody else. Right? And so when you have these ideas, it's not about calling your friend and going, hey, I think you should do this. No, if you have the idea, that's yours. Allow that to bubble up and lean into it. And if any voices say, oh, I couldn't do that, who am I to do that? Well, who are you not to? And why are you having the idea? And who told you couldn't do it? And what are those limiting beliefs that you have? And this next level confidence, that's the kind of conversations that I want to also have, because it isn't about confidence from the outside. You have to know your worth, your value from that aligned place, that there are people specifically that want to learn from you, that want to be helped by you, whose dog wants to be helped by you, whose child wants to be helped
They're
by you,
waiting for
whose
us.
relationship wants to hear what you have to say. It's a big, big world. So there's people specifically that want it from you. It doesn't matter if there's thousands and thousands and millions of other people doing it. Those are all just cop-outs that we can say, there's so many people teaching dance fitness already. No, if I have that idea and that inclination to do it, just start doing it and see what happens, because life will be that, what do they call it, wind beneath your wings when you say yes to those ideas. Don't say, yeah, but that's probably not. You really wouldn't have the idea if you didn't have the potential.
I've totally seen also, segueing into another thing going on in the world right now. It's not just that we're looking to pivot, right? Like, we had already made the pivot years ago because we lost our martial arts school, basically. We chose to walk away from it because of some shenanigans, but some things happened and I lost my salary. So I know what it feels like to go through what a lot of people are going through right now. And I'm really glad that I learned and we learned together to go online and create the stable income that we have right now.
I mean, we lost it like boom, overnight.
It was overnight. It was crazy. It was scary. I was angry. It was a lot of shit going on, and we navigated through it. So we actually know how to navigate from having an offline brick and mortar job or whatever to the online. You got to do it right.
And we know how to do it where you take the same thing offline, online, but we didn't even do the same thing online. It was completely different.
No, completely. We had to improvise and shapeshift, literally. But there's this other thing going on in the conscious play right now, which is a shrinking and a fear. It's scarcity. Granted, there's reason, because there's a lot of people saying, oh no, oh shit, the economy. Did I say a bad word?
3 times.
3 bad words in a row. That's how people
the
are.
Same bad word.
Same bad word. This is how people are feeling. I don't even know I'm saying it. Honestly, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to just say this is what I'm hearing this. People are saying OS, whatever the word. They're freaking out. Maybe you're feeling that energy. Maybe you're hearing that. Maybe you have it in your subconscious or your conscious, and you're wondering, what am I going to do? Well, honestly, I think that there's a whole other side to that conversation, which is there are people looking to invest in training. There are people who want to continue their education. There are people that have problems that they want to pay to have solved. There are more than enough people on this planet, and we have a portal called the internet, and if we have our energy aligned and we're putting it out, we will call them to us. We will attract them. They're looking for us. So I don't think that you have to freak out and worry. I think that you should if you're going through this conversation at all in your own life right now, know that everything can be okay, but you got to make sure you hold the vision of it expanding for you rather than contracting. And that's what we're all about.
And really respect and honor what it is that you do. Yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine. We sort of help each other, coach each other. And she I was telling her about these confidence activators and these really creative ways that I get out of my head, because I had so much anxiety and self-consciousness that I would actually be outside of myself, watching myself. So I had to have ways to get aligned. And I said, I just don't know how much it's worth. And she was like, Sabrina, you don't know because it's easy for you. And she said, we never see the value of what's easy for us. She goes, all of my students, they're telling me constantly that they don't know how to do everything that you think is easy. And she said, you really need to value it. And the things that you think are difficult, go and learn that from somebody that thinks that's kind of easy. And that really was so impactful and exciting for me to value what it is that I love to do so much. And the reason I value it is because I had to have it. It was too horrible being that person, I don't know where to put my arms. Is my mouth looking funny? Who's looking at me? How am I supposed to react? the person outside looking in, the robot, just be still, that this all this head trash that would lock me down, and I don't have it anymore. I have unlocked it and activated.
You got 2 Trisbrina Show topics out of us today.
Twofer.
You got a twofer.
It wasn't in the framework.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe it was.
Well, it wasn't in mine, but see, that's the thing, is if you have a framework, you
Well,
can
you know it wasn't in mine.
You can find your flow. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you, dear friends. You know, we always have a blast. Even without being able to reach everyone by email, you guys showed up, and we appreciate that because this gave us energy to connect with, and you make this fun for us. So have a beautiful Thursday. Thanks for being here. And Bonnie says there are more problems out there than peeps who can lead the process of solving them.
Yep.
It isn't instant, it's a process. If a person can hang with the peeps through their process, it's job security. Nice. Bonnie, I think you're going to like the beginning of today's session. It's all about frameworks and the fairy. You're going to dig it.
You know, if you just make your life about adding value to the world and adding value to other people, and then carry that into whatever business you have, it's going to be successful, because that's what people want. They want you to add value to what they do, and they're happy to add value back. And a lot of times that value is in a monetary exchange.
Totally. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a thing.
Be love, serve love, make a difference. Till next time, peace up.
Peace out. Wait.
What's up, dude?
We gotta
Peace
get our
up, dude.
screenshot.